If you'd come to me before the launch of PSVR2 and said the words indie game, I would have probably just switched off instantly. In my head, when I thought of indie games, it always conjured up 2D platformers, cutesy cartoon games, or the next type of Candy Crush game. But let me tell you, I've never been so happy to be so wrong. This misconception of what indie games were and what smaller or single-person studios were capable of doing comes from many factors, but mostly it's my own ignorance for not even researching it. Up until this point, I'd only really be interested in games with a realistic aesthetic, and the more real-looking the game was, the more I got involved and into it. If I saw cartoony graphics, I generally wasn't interested, the exception being some cel-shaded games like Windlands, but that is going for a general realistic-ish look. I was only consuming mainstream media, and they like to plug the AAA studios and the big bang games, the big franchises, the big IPs, and this is, in part, what's wrong with the gaming industry. When you see articles saying there are no games for PSVR2, what they're actually saying is there's no games you've probably heard of, and this is the problem we're facing in the VR sector and the wider gaming industry. I'm here to tell you that there's a shed load of awesome games that aren't part of an existing IP or from developers that the average gamer probably hasn't heard of, but these indie games are some of the best gaming experiences available right now, period. Before I wander further off topic, let me put that waffle into context with this video. Windlands 1 and 2 totally passed me by on PSVR 1 because I wasn't looking. I was years deep into the likes of Skyrim and No Man's Sky, and I didn't even look into the wider VR industry at all. Moving on to the PSVR 2 and discovering the awesome Without Parole community and then the wider VR community, it's opened my eyes to games and genres that I've usually dismissed. I remember seeing the trailer for Windlands 2 on PSVR 1, and when I saw the art style, I didn't get it. It wasn't what I normally go for. RPGs, adventure games, driving sims, the likes of Grand Theft Autos, the Silent Hills, the Metal Gears, those are all the games I'd gravitated towards. But through the VR community, I've discovered games with such beauty in the simplest of art styles. Here's a timestamp moment. I'm going to admit to being wrong twice in one video, because I was wrong to ignore indie games, and I was wrong to ignore Windlands 2, and you shouldn't either. Now, most people would think, do I need to play the first game to follow the story? Well, SciTech Games has you covered with a graphic novel style story catch-up scene, which I enjoyed so much, I'm just going to play the entire thing right now. Minor spoiler warning, if you do want to watch this video for the first time in the headset, then timestamps are provided to skip ahead.
The lizard tribes once warred for control of the Holy Mountains. Yet they existed in balance with the world and the holy sites. To their world came a mad demon. And with it, human slaves bound by terrible magic. The creature set its malevolent gaze upon the sacred mountains. From the portal, its mechanical legions poured, laying waste to all they could find. The world grew sick, and fertile land became barren sand. Yet among the human slaves, a golden-eyed hero came, who could turn the demon's power against it. In a final battle, the hero lured the demon into a trap and destroyed the creature. With its death, the portal closed and machines fell. The natives and their human allies returned to a simpler life. Yet even dormant, the war machines remained dangerous. Among the humans, there are once more those born with golden eye, able to harness the old magic. The hunters. You are an apprentice hunter, journeying with your master to an island of sacred mountains, dangers, and mysteries.
Right, now we're all on the same page, or you've skipped ahead, whichever it is. I think that set the scene perfectly. I knew exactly what had happened, and then on we go. I'm one of the heroes. Let's see what's going to happen. I was never bothered by frame rates playing flat screen games, but when it came to VR, however, frame rates and graphical fidelity can make such a difference to your overall experience. I always feel like I've got good VR legs. There wasn't much on PSVR1 that used to make me feel queasy, and what did, and now I know it was due to the frame rates. Frame rates have been a hot topic on the PSVR2 since it launched, and reprojection became quite a dirty word. So when games started giving an option for either 60 frames reprojected to 120 or 90Hz native, most people will agree that 90 was the way to go. Of course, 120 native is so smooth that even the most fast-paced movement is quite a comfortable experience for most people. When I heard Windlands 2 was being ported from PSVR1 in partnership with VRMonkey, I was very optimistic on the quality of the port, since they've proven to put out great games and ports running at 90 native, and they're also continuously learning and listening to community feedback. This optimism I had was justified because I'm not disappointed in the work they've put in here and how they've utilised the PlayStation VR's specific features as well. So we've got the game running at the 90Hz native, like no reprojection, so there's no ghosting on there. Swinging from the trees, very comfortable for me. Got adaptive triggers in there, haptics in the orbs. And the headset haptics in the game, when you're getting hit, can be a nice big jolt. And then just flying through the trees, there's a gentle rumble in the headset, which makes you have that feeling of moving through the air. There's going to be full cross-play support with the game. That's on all formats across PC VR, Steam VR, Quest, and PlayStation VR2 as well. And for a lot of people, since this was a PSVR1 game, it is a free upgrade. So if you already bought this on PSVR1, you can get the PSVR2 version for free. Now, I know there's people who will look at this and think cartoony, but that's part of its charm for me. Thanks to the OLED panels, the colours in this art style really pop and everything is crisp and clear in the headset. The 90 frames means that even when moving extremely fast, I never felt any discomfort. And for anybody prone to motion sickness, there's plenty of comfort options with vignettes and click turning or smooth turning, so the options are there. Just like Galaxy Kart, the sensor speed at 90 native just feels great. The saying always goes, but looks aren't everything. And that is true for video games as well, because sometimes something you would not normally be attracted to in an art style form, it's how does the game actually play? What is the gameplay like? So with Windlands 2, swinging through trees you are Spider-Man. If you ever wanted to wonder what it was like to be Spider-Man, this is how it would feel, because I believe if Cytec Games had the license for a Spider-Man game, and they could even do a graphic novel style Spider-Man if that's their forte with this kind of art style, with this swinging mechanic, it would be fantastic. This behaves exactly how you'd think slinging your webs and swinging through the city would behave, and then thrown into that you've got bow and arrows. All your enemies what appear on here have got weak points, and you shoot the weak points and you can collect what you need to do and move on to the next bit. And then you're back to swinging and appreciating just some of the stunning vistas what's available in the game as well. Other parts of the gameplay will see you collecting parts in each of the zones, or you may have to just clear out a set amount of droids within that area. And this is dictated on your right wrist. It'll tell you how many parts you've got left to do or how many droids you've got to do. And in the game's each of the 3 different areas, you can also find plenty of collectibles. There's 40 in each zone. So make sure you have a look around and explore. It does really encourage that exploration. After doing what you need to do, then you get to a door and you've got to hit the targets on the door, and this will open up and you proceed to the next zone. The most enjoyable part of the gameplay for me is the movement. It's getting through the levels and it's learning how the swinging mechanic works. Each time you grapple onto an object, it will start reeling you in, and then you've got to let go and then grapple the next one to get that movement going. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but once you're into the swing of things, pun intended, then you really do get a good sense of getting around the level at a decent pace. And then when it comes to the boss battles, each within these different arenas, all with different grappling mechanics and obstacles within the level, once you actually nail the movement and you'll be swinging freely, then you're firing off shots while you're going through the air. It really does make you feel epic. It is one of the great things about the game. But problem is, with any game like this, you can fall a lot, and you will fall a lot. But thankfully, this is not an issue because the respawn times are really quick, and it doesn't penalise you for actually restarting. So if you get a boss down to a certain amount of hit points left, you're not having to restart from scratch again. It's very fast and you just get straight back into the action. By far my favourite thing in this game is once you get to these boss levels, which are usually quite high in the levels, it's making your way back down. And this just never gets old. Jumping off a cliff and then trying to grab onto the nearest object to then get into the flow of the swings, it feels amazing. I am Spider-Man and I love it, absolutely love it. The sound design complements the game beautifully, and the actual soundtrack can be so relaxing and calming, but sometimes you just want to stand and have a Zen meditation moment and enjoy the soundtrack. Took me around 2 hours to get through the story campaign, but you can also complete this with up to 4 players with multiplayer. I had the opportunity to jump in with Jammer Hero to check out some of the 2-player action, and I've got to admit, this is some of the best fun I had in the game. Just hanging out with a friend, literally, from trees, swinging about, all looking like Spider-Man, and then just seeing what epic fails when people miss time their jumps as well.
Let me have a look. Oh, please let me grapple. No.
Yes,
No.
go.
No. Oh wait, is it eye tracked?
Uh,
I don't know. Your eyes were looking like left and right then.
yeah.
Okay, maybe not. That was
No,
weird.
is it?
Almost. Oh no, you just follow me. Oh, that's freaky.
Is it? Oh yeah, yeah. You also do the same. You kind of locked on.
Yeah. Oh, how does it look for outside perspective? That's actually, you know what? That's better than I thought. It's very like Spider-Man like.
Yeah, yeah. I like how the legs go up because it is. Yeah.
It genuinely is just, yeah, a surprise, incredible port, you know? It's my main point in my video art, to be honest, it was just they could have half-assed it and just been like, okay, Windlands 2 is out on the platform, but they didn't.
Totally agree with Jammy on here. The attention to detail they've put into the game really is good. Things you didn't think what would matter.
Worth it, absolutely worth it. But thank you, man. I'll see you around. There you
Yes.
go.
Hey, oh, yes.
Oh, wait. What?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's attention to
That's
detail.
Sick. That's sick. That's so cool. There's haptics as well. That's amazing.
Even though you can get through the campaign in a couple of hours, there's more to the game to keep you occupied. If you go into the options, select challenges, there's then race modes, which is several different obstacle courses throughout the different zones, where you can compete on the leaderboards against your friends or to get the top spot in the world. This can be done solo and with multiplayer as well. And then there's the collectibles. There's 14 each of the zones to collect. And you really, if you are a trophy hunter, this is definitely what is going to keep you occupied for quite a while. In terms of trophies, getting that platinum trophy is going to be a bit of a time sink, but they are multiplayer only trophies, which can be a bit of a turn off for some people that don't play online or don't have PS Plus. So if you are wanting to go for that platinum trophy, you do require multiplayer. It's kind of one of my pet peeves, is I do wish that multiplayer trophies were a separate list, so then people that don't play online can still obtain that platinum trophy. But it's still plenty to keep you going and occupied. Windlands 2 has really surprised me. It's not something I would normally go in for, but I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with this game, and I would definitely recommend it. I've not played anything like this in VR before. The grappling mechanic just absolutely feels epic. The boss battles are good, the level designs varied, and there's different obstacles, and the multiplayer and the races will keep coming back. I'm definitely going to put more time into this game when I get the opportunity. Until then, I would definitely say this is a must-buy for the platform.
Something that we'll never forget. The freedom of speech is something